Welcome to this week's Kindness Cafe podcast. Grab a cup of coffee, tea, or your favorite snack, relax, and join us for another uplifting story. I am Seema Raj, your host. As you all know, this is a kindness podcast, but today's format is going to be a little different. I am not going to interview anyone on their kindness journey. I am dedicating this podcast to the kindest people that I was blessed to call my parents. Today, December 11th, is their wedding anniversary, and although they are no longer here with me, they do live on in me and my soul every single day. As I sit here and reflect back on my life, I have realized that my kindness journey with my parents started the day that I was born. My parents were way ahead of their times. They came from different backgrounds in India, but fell in love. They had to fight their families to get married, and they did, and they won. Their soulmate connection is an example in our family of what true love is and should be. In fact, when they got married, it was published as an article in a local newspaper because of their love and commitment to one another. So naturally and luckily, their love poured onto me and my older brother, Rajiv. That's how my life started, with lots of love and lots of care. And that's how it continued for all of these years. I have learned and grown so much as a person and as a parent from all of the examples and actions set by my parents. I came to America when I was only 4 years old. I was so new to me, the place, the people, the schooling, the food, everything. But as kids, everything was a new adventure for me and my brother. We did great in school, we made new friends, we watched our parents excitedly wait for letters from their families back in India. There was no internet, social media, WhatsApp during those times. Phone calls had to be scheduled through an operator. So every month we would all get on a call and talk to family back home who missed us like crazy, and vice versa. My parents came from families that were very attached to one another, especially my mom's side. The first time we went back to India was after 3 years. When we landed at this train station in Bareilly, my oldest uncle brought a band to the station to celebrate our homecoming. I mean, who does that? He did. It was like a huge wedding celebration. Every single day we were invited to dinner at someone's home. So much love poured onto us. Then a week before coming back to America, everyone got so sad because we lived so far away and they did not know when they would see us again. But they did. My parents made it their mission to take us to India every 2 years. And so we grew up keeping our close family ties till this day. Tickets to India were very expensive, but they sacrificed a lot to make it happen. Their actions taught us the value and love of family. That is kindness. So throughout the years, we looked forward to our trips to India, living the best of both worlds, lots of hellos and lots of goodbyes. But every moment meant something. Then when my dad completed his PhD and got his doctorate's degree in English from Wayne State University in Michigan, he had so many job offers, but he chose Boise, Idaho. He said looking down from the airplane window reminded him of his birthplace in India, the mountains, the trees, the flatlands, and most importantly, a tranquil and safe place to raise children. He fell in love with Boise. So we moved there, and there our beautiful journey began. Great schools, great close-knit friends, and lots of happy times. There were only 6 Indian families at that time, so through them and our trips to India, we kept our Indian culture alive in us while adapting to our new American culture, making friendships that turn into family, and that would last a lifetime till date. I was the first Indian girl that my friends ever met. They embraced me with so much love and included me in everything. I will never forget their kindness. And today, they are still my friends after 40 years. What a blessing that is. I remember my mom always telling me, Seema, if you are good, then others will be good to you. That was instilled in my mind forever, and I learned to keep relationships and to respect others always. I learned respect gets respect, and acceptance gets acceptance. Such a difficult concept, yet so easy if you just do it. Their words of wisdom and teaching by example gave us a very happy, loving, and secure life. That is kindness. Life flew by, and before we knew it, we were in high school, getting involved in sports, drill team, tennis, school dances, so much fun with family and friends, but at the same time maintaining our Indian culture as well. One very important thing that my parents taught me: never scare your children. Be open with them so they always tell you what they're doing. And if they have any issues, otherwise they will lie to you. So whatever I felt conflicted about any issues, especially cultural, I would always tell my parents and get their advice. I knew that no one could love me so much unconditionally like they did. And they always gave me the right advice, while at the same time acknowledging that life can be hard living in a different environment. They also changed their viewpoint on so many things so they could make life easier and less dramatic for me and my brother. As parents, they compromised their way of thinking so that their kids could adapt to a new way of life. That is kindness. Then came college. Education is the most important thing for Indian people. They are always highly educated. Everyone wants their kids to become either doctors or engineers. And I can tell you that every Indian listening to my podcast today will be laughing now because they know that this is a fact. But my brother and I did not accept this concept. His dream was to become a police officer since he was 2 years old, and that's what he became. He retired as a lieutenant, and my parents were so proud of him, his hard work, and most of all, his service to his country, America, putting his life on the line to save other people's lives. I recall my mom and dad had a sleepless nights worrying about him, but always encouraged him to do his best and never, ever stood in the way of his duty. Then there was me. My dream was to become a news reporter. For me, my idea of an enjoyable job was a mixture of intelligence and glamour. I wanted to be a television news reporter, and I did become one. My parents were so proud of me, and I remember my dad taping every single story of mine that aired on TV. That is love. And many times, ironically, my brother would be on the same story, being the detective, and me reporting the story. They were so proud. So my brother and I also went against Indian traditional values and got degrees in the occupations that we wanted, only because our parents valued our happiness and said that as long as you excel and love what you are doing, then you have a right to do that. They always encouraged, supported, and were so proud of us. That's why we grew up to be such confident adults. Their actions showed us that love is the most important things. And more than that, they loved us kids more than they loved their Indian traditions. That is kindness. There were also so many things that we wanted to do but had to convince our parents, like all kids do. My brother wanted a motorcycle, but my mom was so scared to let him go on a motorcycle because of all the accidents they got into. But she finally gave in and he got a motorcycle. He had a few minor accidents, but he was okay. He still has a Yamaha sitting in his garage today. And you know what's ironic is now he is the one having sleepless nights because his son also has a Yamaha sitting in his garage. So there you go, Rajiv. Life comes full circle. And me, well, I used to have this dream of going to Bollywood, India's version of Hollywood, and becoming an actress. Oh my God, every time I traveled to India, I would run into a producer, and on the flight, they promised me a screen test if I could move to Bombay. I used to beg my parents to let me go, but they said it was not a good life, and plus it was way too far for me to go, live alone in a place where I was not used to knowing the way of life. So I listened to them, but my dad made me really happy and bought my ticket and accommodations to let me enter the Miss India California beauty pageant in California. I was so happy. My mom went with me and I got my first runner-up title, so I was thrilled. With that, I got over the idea of going to Bollywood. There was no way I could live that far away from my parents. I was too attached to them. But the point is, their actions showed us that our hopes and dreams were also important to them. That is kindness. The main point of my podcast today is to honor my parents who truly sacrificed so much to give us the best of both worlds, two cultures, India and America. I feel so blessed to have had the best. Their love is enough to carry me through this lifetime, and I know they are always blessing and guiding me from above. I want to end this podcast by saying that life is a gift given us by God. You can make it good or you can make it bad. It's all up to you. If you were blessed to have such loving and selfless parents like me, which I know many of you are, then hopefully you can raise your kids in the best way possible too. And if you did not have such a happy childhood, then you can learn from what went wrong and how you can fix that in your own life. Life is a journey. Embrace it, love it, share it, and most of all, be kind to others. Because when you are gone, no one will remember what you had. They will remember what you did. You reap what you sow. With that, I want to thank my listeners for listening to my personal kindness journey. Honestly, I felt very emotional while writing all of these incidents in my life, but surprisingly, it feels good to go back in time and relive these unforgettable moments that made me who I am today. Memories that are etched in my mind and heart forever. And I am smiling right here as I tape this podcast. My parents may not be physically here with me today, but they live on in me and my children and every aspect of my life, every single day. So happy anniversary, Mommy and Daddy. You will always be my shining light and the wind beneath my wings. Thank you. And remember, living is giving.